In today's video, I wanted to make a video talking about what professional musicians think about when they improvise. I think a lot of us kind of buy into this myth. I certainly did for a really long time. That, if I practice really hard, I practice, 4 hours a day, and I do all this stuff, I'm eventually going to be able to just know every single note that I'm playing while I'm doing it, and everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows, and I'll have it figured out, and I'll always be in control of everything that I'm doing at all times. And the unfortunate thing to report back to you, as someone who is now a professional musician, tours nationally, and does all this stuff, that doesn't happen. You don't get to that point. That's not how it works. So I just wanted to offer some insights into how I think about improvising, how I see improvising, and how it works I can't speak for everyone, but I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for pretty much everyone when I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. So the first thing that I always kind of think about is that really improvising to me has a lot more to do with language and conversation than it does with, like perfect mathematical solos that are perfectly crafted and are just brilliantly executed and da-da-da-da, even though they may be those things. Where if you think, presumably most of you watching this are English speakers, I don't necessarily think about all of the words and whether I'm using nouns or adjectives or whatever when I'm speaking, but I'm spontaneously assembling all of these things to convey what I'm thinking, right? And that's how we go about it every day. Like, actually, I speak French as a second language, and I am much more aware of different, conjugations and rules in French than I am in English, because I just learned to speak English. I don't think, I don't really know the difference between a proper noun and whatever, and I probably do actually know the difference, but I never think about it, so it's not clarified as this rule in my head. And so I wanted to make a video talking about how you can kind of aspire to get that in music. And so the way that I often kind of think about these things and what's actually going on in my head is I am just thinking about what sounds I want to hear. So if I'm playing over a track, let's say I'm just playing over something super simple. Let's say it's a 1-4-5 progression in the key of C. So if I was playing over, if I'm playing over this, literally, here, I'll just play a little bit. All that's going on in my head is the melody that I'm playing. So if I'm playing over that again, let me hit it. I'll sing what I'm hearing in my head. Here we go. Da, 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 da. I'm just thinking about melody, and it's kind of like the way that obviously I am thinking about, am I playing this over an F chord? Am I thinking about this over C? But I almost think about these as if I was talking about topics. So, if I'm talking to my friend who's into bikes as well as I like bikes, cycling, we're going to use certain language that's specific to cycling. And how did we amass that knowledge of cycling? We learned, and it's funny to think about it as studying, but we've studied a little bit, right? We know what certain things do. And that's how I treat it. If I'm playing over a major chord, I'm going to be singing melodies in my head and playing notes that relate to that chord. And again, this can be a really, really slow process to kind of get better at. But that's kind of how it works, is basically I'm singing an idea in my head and I'm filtering it through my knowledge of what works over that chord or what works in that particular situation. I'm not necessarily, and don't get me wrong, there will be times where I will see things and I'm aware of notes, or there will be things where I'm aware of intervals in relation to a chord. So say, for example, I was playing over that same thing. there, I was aware that that was the major 7 of C. And then when I went here, I was aware it was the 3rd of F, but it's not like I'm going like just like a crazy robot. Like, oh, this note, this note, this note, this note. Brain is not working that way at all. I'm just thinking pretty melodies and trying to filter out some of that stuff. So I wanted to make a video talking about this where I give you kind of ways that you can train yourself to do this. And so a really good way to start getting into doing this kind of thing is to just think, what's your chord progression? So here it's C and then F and then G. And just take time out of the equation, but just sing yourself a melody and try to play notes over 1 chord at a time. So if I'm playing over C, try to think of one of my profs used to say this in private lessons. He would say, C major, make me happy. So what if you thought C major, make me happy? So you can play the chord once to get it in your head and just play a little melody over that. So sing something and try to play it on the guitar. Da 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 da. Then F major, make me happy. Da na 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 na. Then G major, make me happy. Ba da da da. And then we're back to C. Da 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 da. And again, I'm not a singer, so I'm sorry for berating your ears with that. But that is kind of really the closest I could get to that. Is I'm just singing melodies and playing them. And by practicing being specific in what you're playing, that's going to be a way for you to train yourself to be able to handle these kind of musical situations where you're doing that. And again, I just wanted to make this video because I think a lot of us fall prey to this thought that, you know, when you improvise, you're going to get, or when you're practicing, you're going to get to a point where you're aware of everything that you're doing. And really, I think about it like our command of language, where we went through a huge period of kind of vocabulary acquisition, most of us in grade school, where, you know, you had spelling classes, you had whatever, and you learn all these words, you're reading books, you're doing all this stuff, and you're amassing things that you can say. And when you actually go to speak with people, you're very rarely, you know, conscious of, you're like, oh, am I using past or present tense? It just happens. It's a subconscious level thing. So when you're practicing, I would always recommend that when you go through this, you try to actually make some music and be creative with them, because the new scale position you're learning is only as useful as what you can actually say with that. Obviously, it's helpful. So say I was just playing this position of C major pentatonic. It is, of course, useful to know that position upright, but if I just play, and I just vomit this position at you, it's not very interesting. But if I mix up those notes, make something with them, it is significantly more interesting. And again, I couldn't have done all of that if I wasn't already kind of comfortable with that shape. But the goal is to make stuff with it, and you're never going to get it to a point where you practice it so that your brain is just filtering all this information. It happens way too fast. Music and improvising happens a lot like singing. But anyways, I just wanted to make this video in case it's of use to some of you out there. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you could know. If you are looking to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to get in touch with me down in the description. I'd love to work with you on whatever's troubling you on the guitar. If you are looking for a different way to support me, there's a link down below to my Patreon page. All of my patrons get early access to my videos, as well as cool kind of behind the scenes sneak peeks of stuff that I'm working on that I don't necessarily share anywhere else. So if that's of interest to you, it's very affordable, very reasonable, and it's a wonderful little community guitar lover, so I'd love to see you over there. If you're looking for a different way to support me and what I'm up to, you can check out my ebooks or my video courses, linked down in the description below. It's a great way to get some educational content from me that goes a lot more in depth into things than, you know, I can go into in a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video. And last but not least, I have at least 2 new videos coming out every single week, usually closer to 3. So I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until I do, I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.